I am sitting down with the designers of the Tor badge, which I touched on my other video, but this one specifically is absolutely bonkers. Because unlike just a blinky LED badge, it is a lie detector in a badge. And we want to go into some of the details. I'm hooked up to it right now, and we'll get to try it out. But first, let's just talk about the badge in general. I have the creators sitting here. We're gonna keep them off camera though. So can you give me like a 1 or 2 sentence description of like, what does this thing do?
Sure, so this is a mini lie detector or polygraph. So it has 2 primary sensors. It has a heart rate sensor that shines a green LED into your finger and then measures the blood flow. And it also has a galvanic skin response sensor, or GSR, which measures the resistance difference between those 2 finger cuffs on your finger. So as you get nervous or an adrenaline dump or embarrassed, you sweat a little bit, and the resistance between those 2 contacts on your fingers will change.
It's Vegas, so I'm pretty much sweating all the time. I'm a big dude. So I'm hooked up to this thing right now. So you have a lot of sensors. We also have the person who designed all the hardware for this badge. Now, question for you is, when you were designing this badge, like, it has been a nuts year for badge design. Did you get hit with any of the chip shortage problems?
Oh yeah, we had a lot of trouble with the chips, specifically the potentiometer. You know, it's such a standard, simple part, but we had a lot of trouble getting these. We actually had to buy really long ones, cut them down, because we couldn't even get the right part. And we had to do a few more substitutions for the chips. We had to use like automotive grade parts where normally you wouldn't need automotive grade parts. They're a little bit more, but they were available, and that's what we had to use. As far as I know, we bought almost all of these microcontrollers that they had, because as soon as our order was filled, they were sold out. So yeah, it was nuts with the chip shortages.
So what gave you the idea for this? Like, again, there's 2 other things I want to talk about, but like, what gave you the idea to do, like, this is a crazy design. I've never seen a lie detector in a badge, and it totally feels a little weird being hooked up to it right now.
So I made a badge in DEF CON 23, originally for the DEF CON shoot. It was a shot counter and clapper and some other things. Then 2 years ago, I made these little shitty add-on badges for Tor, and that was also a fundraiser. And I've always kind of wanted to do another badge. Seed Studio has this suite of sensors called Grove sensors, and one of them is a GSR, one of them is a heart rate, so I could kind of breadboard this out really easily, see that it works, test the OLEDs, make sure the refresh rate on the OLEDs is fast enough. And yeah, I mean, it's just a kind of fun little badge that actually does something, and it's kind of fun to play with.
Now, something you said is like, this is like, obviously there's a little bit of profit when you sell these. Where does that profit go? Do you keep that just to create your new badge, or is that going to support something?
Yeah, so all profits from this badge sale and the badge sale 2 years ago go to the Tor project. I fund all development personally, and if the badges come back and they don't work, I am just screwed and I lose all my money.
Oh.
No one funds me initially. I just hope that they work and I sell enough to recoup my hardware costs. I don't charge for my time or effort or anything else.
I mean, what's really cool about that too is the fact that, like, they sold out. Like, of course they're gonna sell out. It's a lie detector in a badge. Like, what's not to love about that? It's not like those crappy lie detectors like you'd get like in your 101 electronics kit, which never worked. Like, this thing is actually kinda solid. Like, it's still a small one and you're not like sitting on it, and there might be some defensive measures. So, let's try it right now. So I'm hooked up to the thing right now. Can you go ahead and we'll get this thing started?
So on the right screen is the heart rate sensor. Now right now you're just picking up like ambient light changes. The left screen is the galvanic skin response sensor. So it's going to measure the difference in the finger cuffs that you have on your finger. And as you move around or change the pressure on there, that's why it's kind of jumping around. So if you remain still and take a sharp inhale, exhale breath and kind of force yourself to sweat a little bit or get nervous or in and out quickly. So there you go.
It's dropping. It's dropping.
So it picks up that like inner embarrassed feeling or that flush feeling, and that causes a little bit of sweat, and that sweat causes a difference in resistance between those contacts.
So okay, so one of the ways I've always seen lie detectors use is that you calibrate it with like a few questions. So like ask me like a couple easy questions like, is my shirt red or something like that.
Well, that's the thing. They don't use the easy questions. They use the hard questions. That's why they get you. They ask you something like, have you ever stolen anything? And then you confess to maybe stealing a few little things. And then they say, other than what you've told me, have you ever stolen anything? And then that's called a probable lie question.
Okay.
So you almost certainly are lying because you can't possibly remember everything that you've ever stolen. So have you ever stolen anything?
Absolutely not. Never before.
Oh, look, it's dropping. It's already dropping. That's a massive lie.
Okay. You know what? I'm going to comment on this. I may have used Napster at one time in the past to steal like one
well, that's
song.
not even stealing. That's copy.
It was Alice Morissette. That's what it was. No. All right. So that's so cool.
Yeah,
like,
it did massively drop when you said that.
That's absolutely insane. So with them sold out, there might be another production run. There might not be another production run. Where should they be looking to see if they can pick one up?
Yeah, so I'm personally bad at optimizing fundraisers. I mean, if I was good at this, I would just make a massive run and sell a bunch online. It's more like a hobby / fundraiser. So that's why we make these at DEF CON and then usually try to sell out, which we have both 2 years ago and this year. I'm gonna contact Tor and see if they're interested in making another run. If we are, you can follow the Tor project on Twitter, and I'm sure they'll post about it if that happens.
Guys, thank you so much for sitting down with me. Thank you for catching me in a lie. Again, I feel a little bad about that one. Thank you for creating such a cool badge and bringing it to DEF CON. And you guys, thanks for watching, and hack on.